All right, hey everybody, this is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. Today is Wednesday, November 6, 2019, and we are back with another Galloping Ghost podcast. Myself and, of course, former Gamer of the Year, Pete Hahn.
I didn't get it like last time. We were like, it was nailed it last time.
On cue.
Okay.
We are also joined by our special guest, Paul Niemeyer, who was our last guest, but as we were rushed for time a little bit, there was so much more to cover. Thank you so much for coming back out.
And, thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is fantastic.
It was definitely a lot of fun last podcast, and hearing that you've got and found more artwork. I'm already so excited to see what you found. And
yeah. I went looking for one thing and found another completely different thing, so
yeah.
That's cool. We'll play around with some of this. Let me take a drink real quick.
Yeah.
Sure. It's again, Paul has worked on so many iconic pieces of artwork and cabinet artwork for so many arcade games. Satan's Hollow, Wacko jumped to mind right away. We found out last time that he worked on Midnight Marauders, which is awesome, and of course the legendary Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Midnight Marauders, that's funny, is that it got brought up last time, and I hadn't thought about that in a zillion years, just for forever. And it was funny that all the people started popping up, pictures of it, and I was like, wow. So I started digging around, and I found I actually have sketches, like these are the original sketches of the spaceships that were going to be in.
That's nice.
And then this is one of the little prototype robots. I'm just gonna.
Blue with the blue rings up top there. There you go. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you see this. And then, one of the other spaceships. This is the mothership.
like now, when you're designing this artwork, like you've seen the gameplay, or are they just which is coming first?
This one, it's funny. It changes with each one of them. This particular one, it was all kind of happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
It was a shooting game, so you had to have targets. So these were the targets for the most part, and there were some like little tanks, and that was all thrown in like at the end. I remember somebody coming to my desk and going, "Hey, we need some tanks and some others," and I guess you can use those guys from the side as targets. That's how it went.
Wow.
It was pretty much thrown together as we were rolling with that thing. Probably what we spent the most time on was that vacuum formed plastic thing, that was underlit, and then it had like a black light on top of it. It was a beautiful game. It was gorgeous. Now after reading a little bit, it turns out it has like a zillion glitches, and
Did it sell well, like commercially?
I think that was the biggest problem. I believe they made probably 300. That seemed to be the magic number for production.
Okay.
Was 300.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't cut it after 300 games, I guess.
That was just they cut cut you loose.
After the drunk card goes, yeah.
You definitely don't see a lot of them out there, but there was so many games that there were things like that. I remember, like Dark Planet has this resin mountainscape inside. And there's so many little things that you see in very specific games, and usually a lot of them are these games that fly underneath the radar, and having like a diorama inside of it, like a vacuum formed diorama, is like ridiculous to have a game like that.
Right. A nutty production, the cost of it at the time, I think they were like just rolling the dice, because I was shocked that they were throwing so much money at production on this thing, because the artwork covered the entire side.
Yeah.
So that was a huge deal in itself, because that you just tripled the cost of the film work.
Right.
So apparently they didn't care, and they gave me carte blanche on it, and I didn't care either. I was looking to make a big splash. I figured this was probably definitely my last job, which it was. So.
Well, and it was such an amazing, like, as we had mentioned on the last podcast, it's an EM game, Midnight Marauders. It's not one that they actually passed on it twice. But the only thing that made me really, really want to get it was the artwork, and not knowing that you had had done that
Yeah,
side
yeah.
art. It really visually, the cabinet stood out so well to me. It's burned into my memory. It's like,
Thank you
wow,
so
what an
much.
amazing artwork design on that. And the game, not that the game wasn't cool by any means, but EMs, we've had a few, and the upkeep on them is tough, but that artwork just stood out to me.
Thank you so much.
Such fantastic artwork on that.
And, as I was digging this stuff out this morning, it all kind of started coming back to me. How the evolution of there were a few other sketches, and I can't believe I didn't bring them with. The bad guys in the game were originally, they were quasi. Maybe Arabs, and then they decided, oh, okay, no, that's gone.
not gonna fly,
Let's just, right, because I mean, at the time, what it was like, that was like just before maybe Iran Contra, and it was right after the hostages had been released,
Oh yeah.
So it was always, there's still just as much tension as there is now. So, they were like, yeah, let's mix it up a little bit, and then they were, no, that's not mix it up a little bit. That's a really dumb idea. So it segued and it became robots, and they were who doesn't want to shoot robots?
Sure.
I think that's happened in a lot of games. I've seen that. Didn't Contra do that with Probotector? They like you couldn't shoot humans, so they turned it into robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a common thing.
So I went through a number of different versions of robots, to get to. Oh, okay, one of them was here. Let's talk about Midnight Model while we got this stuff here. One of the versions that didn't get used was I ended up using it on I'll just take this out of here. This thing's falling apart as it is. 25 years old. A lot older, actually. Probably in my 30s.
And let me just say, like, it's such an honor to be able to see, like, artwork like this. And, I love arcade artwork. It is part of the collectors are all into it and everything. But it's something that I think has been very underrated in what makes a lot of these games stand out. And like you see people, they remember the games, but seeing that cabinet art is so iconic to so many people. And to see stuff that originals that was kind of something that could have been is just absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how much I personally appreciate you sharing this and with everybody on stream and everything, because so much of this has just been hidden away, and it's so awesome that people after decades get to see it and appreciate like your great artwork and
Thanks.
Again, things that could have been.
I remember even thinking back then, if I don't save this, it's not going to be saved.
Oh yeah.
I definitely had I was driven to it wasn't like I was just a pack rat just doing it. I figured someday something, and maybe I gotta say a couple of years ago I was very disappointed, and that I didn't feel like anybody even remembered all that stuff. I put some of the stuff on eBay. Luckily, it got missed. Thank God. Because I was giving it away, and all kinds of iconic stuff from back in the day, original prints and stuff. And I'm like, anybody interested in this? And nobody noticed it, thank God. Now I've got it as priceless. I'd have given it away. What an idiot.
Was like Bally Midway and Williams, did they want this stuff to stay in-house? Were they like, oh, this is our artwork now, you've drawn it, it needs to stay in our archives?
They weren't. I mean, that was never really said. I know, talking to Doug Watson, I'm very good friends with Doug Watson, pinball god. He said many years later, Bally lawyers contacted him long after, maybe like 15 years. He was a professor at a art school in San Francisco, and he had Bally lawyers calling him up and going, "We understand you own some of the paintings that you did for the. We want you to return the Bally property to us."
Wow.
And he goes, "They were destroyed in a fire." Okay,
Yeah.
Shut up. You're not Are you kidding? No,
Wow.
You're not getting any of that. Are you insane? That they had the nerve to come after it. I was just thought, wow. And they had a laundry list of paintings, not just one or two. Oh, they wanted the whole cachet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And it's so unfortunate. Again, we've known so many people from Midway, and especially the guys from like the Mortal Kombat guys. There was just closets full of artwork and props, and it all just, we need the space. This stuff can go.
Out it goes.
And it's, again, on behalf of the video game community, I can't thank you enough for archiving and stuff. Like, and this is all great condition.
Thanks. And I'll tell you, I probably would have gotten in trouble if I got caught taking this stuff out at the time.
Yeah.
But I knew what was going to happen to it. It's just going to get tossed somewhere, and then my heart's going to get broken that I didn't do this. So screw them. I'm taking it.
Sure.
True confession, Tyler. To get some of these headers out, I wore my winter coat and I'd stick them in my back, and I'd, good night.
Oh, like rolled up? Yeah.
No, I mean the headers.
Okay.
Like almost like walking stiff like a board. I got these damn, like 4 headers shoved down my pants and on my back. And, good night, everybody. That's how I got them out, man.
Stiff back,
yeah. Come and get me, I don't care.
I've seen it kind of firsthand, like we do, like working on our games. It does so much of it gets kind of like, we just printed these flyers up, or we printed these marquees. We can print more. Like these can just go. But
it's true. You get a laissez-faire attitude about it. Like, oh look, it exists. Okay, well, look, you can exist because I can hold it in my hand.
Right.
Right. So obviously it is. I don't know how much value does it have. It's right here. But what happens when it's not right there anymore?
Right.
Yeah, okay,
right.
yeah, duh, oops.
Well, and back then, was there any thought of any, like these games were making a huge impact on people? Like people were, especially stuff like the early games, like Pac-Man and everything, like were they conscious of what was going on, and was there any thought of any sort of, wow, we should start preserving this stuff?
Not to my knowledge. I'd say probably the antithesis of that was I mean, we had a number of really nice, I remember they were maple faced flat files, and they were gorgeous. We're like, ooh, these are very nice. Did they order these by mistake for us? Because they're really nice, man. And they were just jam-packed with stuff. And the rule of thumb was when it gets to, they can't close it anymore, we go to whatever's on the bottom. Start tossing.
Yeah.
What kind of a policy is that? That's insane.
Right.
No rhyme or reason to what you're pulling out. It's just you're just making space because it's thick. Ah.
Yeah.
That really, you'd see it happening. Going, this is madness. It's madness. It'd be maybe an artist that wasn't there anymore, and you're going, what would he say if he saw his,
Does he have any of the originals, or is this it? Yeah.
Yeah, nuts.
Did you see any of your artwork that was just discarded? Like, was there? You seem to have done you've tried your best to preserve it, but do you know?
To the point of stealing it, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see artwork of yours get discarded and
Sure.
everything?
Sure.
Were there any games or projects that you can recall that it was like, man, it would?
No, I think a lot of it was. There would be like the color separations. It would just be a bunch of sheets, with marker registers on them, and Rubulith. They were all Rubulith, and it just got in the way. And they figured they'd already made the masters.
Yeah.
The films from these were the masters basically. But the film all had to be touched up anyway, just because of the process of the day. There was pinholes and all of it, and so. Those pieces weren't considered masters.
Yeah.
The film was considered the master, the one that was touched up with all the pinholes taken out of it. That was the master.
Ah.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I still have the master Mortal Kombat logo, the dragon.
Really?
I have the master.
Wow.
Yeah, I found that while I was digging around too, because it has a little pinholes. You can see the little dot, where I filled in the pinholes from the original shot.
Wow. Like, do you ever? And you had mentioned before, like selling it, like, and these are like this is the stuff that it does. A lot of this stuff belongs in a museum somewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
probably. To me, right now, I mean, it's all kind of new to me.
Sure, sure.
I'm still kind of, like I said last time, I'm still kind of grokking it all, and it's taking it all in. So it's a lot to kind of take in, and what its true value is. I don't want to sound like I'm being selfish or anything, but I think I kind of want to like maybe step back from it and see, like, let's see what happens here.
Well,
I'm not sure where it's going to go.
It's so part of it. I know the fan base. You've got this growing fan base now of people finally being able to put a name to the talent that they've enjoyed for all these decades. It's so cool that like having this stuff. It does present the opportunity of where not only can people. And hopefully, like I've seen you've been doing shows and everything, and the more of this stuff that you find, it's kind of like if you go out to do a show like Midwest Gaming Classic or Pinball Expo or the Florida show, like you can bring. Well, these are the originals, so it's so amazing, and there's been so many people, Brian Cullen and Jeff Nauman, they've been very generous to. Give us stuff that's here. But it's so cool when they go do shows and they've got their stuff. The same thing with Jeff Lee. Like Jeff has at his house, I was out there and he had just a stack of artwork. And it's just so cool to watch the people that created it flip through it and share the stories on it. So
as I was looking through, it's funny. I remember what I was doing when I was, drawing it, or even the song that I was listening to. That's so weird that like all of a sudden that triggers that memory that you made that association, and this is just goofy, stupid stuff to remember. I just posted on my Facebook page. I found a header for Barzoids.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sharon Barr. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? I don't even know if it got made or anything.
I'd never heard of the game.
No.
I'll give everyone a link for Paul's page here.
Yeah, and that was Sharon Barr was the designer. She was awesome. Somebody I work with at Bankson Pumpkin Farm just recently ran into her out in California. My name came up, and we were like, what a wacky small world that turned out,
Yeah.
So kind of reconnected with her a little bit. That was kind of fun. But Barzoids, and as I was doing it, I remember thinking, I was sitting by the pool when I was, at my apartment complex, and it's funny how what the goofy, stupid stuff you remember that you were doing when you designed the stuff. But like these guys, these were prototypes for the robots in. Can I get over here?
Yep.
Yeah, where's that guy? In Midnight Marauders. And then
go a little bit higher. That logo's blocking you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. So they were prototypes for Midnight Marauders. It was. They decided they looked too much like Cylons from so that was. They were gone. But I had the guys. So then this game, Zodiac, it was one of those one shot. It's out on the dock right now.
Yeah.
Do something. Literally, they didn't even want to take it off the dock. We would run out there and put the stupid marker rendering on the header on the dock. Then they just put it back in the truck and take it to some arcade. That was the test. Wow. Yeah, that's how they tested stuff. It was pretty down and dirty, man. Come on, they're waiting to try to.
Like how much time?
Draw faster.
Was there? What was? How much? Like what?
That's
a piece like
2 hours. This is like a 2-hour drawing. Yeah, this is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It looks like it would take a lot longer than that to do.
Well, I had the characters.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of putting them on a light box and drawing, and then doing some tricky marker stuff, and we had some bleed pens, and
Like, were you given? Like, where would you with your artwork? Like, what would you start with? Like, do you do the like the title first, or the characters first, or where? How do you get your composition going?
Yeah, probably the I'd say the title first. Try and get that down, and then work everything around it. I mean, that's going to be the most important thing. I think maybe I work backwards from, from the most important to the least important thing, or what it's going to take to dress it up. So like this one, I didn't even remember the circumstances. I think maybe I just thought, I do remember this was like 2 hours, nothing. So I thought, oh, how about drastic perspective, and we just draw the lines off of here. Zodiac, there you go. We'll throw some flair into it, make it look silvery, and there's some robots in the game. Oh, awesome! There you go. They're robots. Done.
Yeah. How much influence, like, for game title screens? Like, you design something like this, and obviously they've got the name of the game already.
Yeah, that particular one they did. Sometimes we would actually make it up.
Really?
Yeah. Like last time we were talking about, I said, oh, skater guy. But there was a skater. I think we just called it skater. We couldn't come up with anything else. Really? And we just say, yeah, one word. It's like, share. Yeah. Skater. No, it didn't work as well as share, let's face it.
So I know, like, the Satan's Hollow title screen is very, very much not in that style.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
take a look at that. I'll put these guys away. Yeah, this is the marker rendering for header for Satan's Hollow. You get that up there?
Wow, it's extremely cool.
So ridiculous to see that.
Thanks. It held up well, huh? The markers, the response. Look at it. I mean, it's still, the color is still real bright. It's crazy, huh? That's 35 years old. 35 years old.
Like, I see so many people, and looking at Satan's Hollow alone, we've had so many people bring up Satan's Hollow for various reasons. I've known a couple of people who, again, myself, we had the cabaret cabinet, and we upgraded to the full cabinet just because of that artwork. But this is definitely one of those games when people see the artwork, it stands out. It's just so instantly iconic. We had, what was that? It was at, like, Riot Fest several years ago, and, like, Danzig wanted it in his trailer. Just so, like, before the show, he wanted that and Gorgar Pinball.
Oh, Satan's Hollow? No kidding. Oh, no kidding.
He wanted to borrow it, and it was like his rep was
I'm flattered. Wow.
It was just awesome. It's
nuts.
And again, that artwork is just so. It's awesome. It is just amazing.
And I brought a screw up. I brought a total screw up. As you can, these are both prototypes that when we get approval on the color rendering, then it goes to production, and I do the production screens and I cut the color. Well, apparently I'm not exactly sure what happened with this one. I think maybe the wrong number was put down to send to the shop. You see, it's very yellow. It's got all yeah. So I think one of those screens maybe it just had the wrong number, or maybe I just screwed up and picked the wrong number. Let's go with it that they screwed it up.
Wow.
So, and then because I remember this came back and Paul Farrell's coming over and stroking his chin, going, I see where you're going with that, but you got to remember it's going to be backlit, so it's going to be a lot brighter than this. So keep that in mind and probably fix it.
Yeah.
Probably fix
Change
it. So I fixed it. So and then this was the final. So oops, I got it there. So it's got a reflection on it. There we go. It's better. So there you go.
So this one they would do. This is the only one.
Yeah, that's a one of a kind.
It is a one of one.
One of a kind screw up.
Wow.
Actually, this is one of a kind too, in that this was the prototype. Because because I had to put all this stuff on here too, the copyrights and everything. I stuck my little initials in here.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Is that?
Yeah, that was.
Can we show that?
Oh yeah, sure.
Get it nice and close up there.
Where are we going with that?
It's about good.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, hello. Can you see it?
Yeah, now they can see it.
Okay. So, okay, there you go. Yeah, we had to sneak our initials in. Paul Ferris was great about that kind of stuff. I mean, he just signed his stuff blatantly and said, screw them.
Yeah.
But it was his obligation to come down and tell us, look, guys, the boys upstairs don't want you signing this stuff, so I don't want to see it. Okay. Now, if it goes to production and it's already in there, well, that's just going to be too costly to change, so, well, too bad. But if we don't see it, that would be probably the way to go. Yeah,
be
Paul
clever.
was awesome. He was great about that kind of stuff. I know he was just like, yeah, corporate.
Was that already weighing in was that something that you were really thinking about, like, as an artist? Like, you want people to know, like, that's yours. Like, nobody else's.
As a young, arrogant, cocky artist, yeah. You better believe it. I'm not near as arrogant or cocky now. The years are kind of wearing that, the edge of that off, thank God, But yeah, and we all were. We were a little cocky, We're like, look at us, man. We're the shit,
Was there anybody that you were kind of, and any specific pieces that you were kind of like, oh, I can't wait for whoever to see this one? And was there anybody kind of trying to impress or show off to or outdo or?
You know what? I was so young in the business. I didn't know anybody to impress yet.
Sure.
No, I really at that time we were just doing it just to be doing it. I was just thrilled to be there and to be part of it. I mean, I kind of had to keep pinching myself. I was just a farm boy from Little Grant Park, Illinois, population 850. Really, how does that happen? How did I end up here?
Yeah.
Don't blink, maybe it'll go away. Don't
Sure.
But yeah, so it was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Even then, I mean, in all honesty, none of us really grasped the whole, everything. I mean, look at us here. It's 35 years later and we're still talking about this stuff. How crazy is that?
Well, and I've always kind of felt that it's always been so downplayed in, like, the arcade games have been decades and decades have been appreciated. I always equate them out to movies where you've got like the movie stars and the directors and everybody that collaborates, and then the movies hit this status of like, oh, this is something truly important. And again, the games themselves, the cabinet art, and the people that made the games, like, you are the movie stars of and the directors of video games, and are like, it's always been so, just talking to people in the scene, it's always seemed kind of like the higher ups kind of wanted, and understandably they didn't want artists to go to other companies and everything, but in that holding everybody back and not letting the names out kind of stunted the growth of what could have been. It could have been kind of like movies, music, and video games.
I agree. I totally agree. And I know Paul Ferris felt the same way too. He butted heads with corporate on numerous occasions just because of that.
Yeah.
I know he would come back from meetings. My it's funny. My cubicle was in an interesting place in the department, in that everybody that came and went in the department had to go past my desk. They had to. There was no way around it. And he'd come back from those meetings, and you could see he was just pissed off. 'Cause they were ramming something down his throat that he and he was a great guy. He would always go to the mat for us, always. He would fight tooth and nail to keep whatever it was that we thought was special or pertinent or had to be a part of that game. And he fought. He kept he kept his word to us always. He really did. Just the greatest guy. I can't say enough about Paul Ferris. Just a great guy. Best boss ever.
Yeah, it's awesome. Can you give us kind of a timeline of, and we've been mentioning like the games that you've worked on. Can you give us kind of a timeline of the games that you worked on? Like, how many games did you work on, and
it's funny because the number is increasing. The more I dig in my files, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, look at this. I mean, I got to be honest. When the first time I came here and I was walking through the arcade, I had completely forgotten I had done Wacko.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to whack me because I was like, oh my God, Wacko, how did I forget about that? And it turns out, I mean, I've got all kinds of original artwork from Wacko, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, that cabinet design was so, like, the whole slanted cabinet.
That was all Brian's idea, and it was funny because I was teasing myself. Oh, you were the sweetheart. They'd do anything for you,
Yeah.
You want to make a slanted cabinet? The engineering department was all flipping you the bird. Who's the asshole that did this?
I had a kid ask me, like, what's wrong with this some kid asked me, what's wrong with this game? Why is the cabinet like that? I'm like, oh, it's unique.
Because there's something wrong with Brian Collin. That's why. Something wonderfully right is actually what's wrong with Brian Collin. He's
was
just the awesomest guy ever, I swear.
I don't know how, and I've brought that up to him so many times. Like, we'll be getting lunch or at a show, and it's like, how do you convince... you're working on a game, and you look at his catalog of games he's done, and every one it's like, who would approve this cabinet? Like, what's the cost on this? Mm-hmm. And it's always like, you can almost tell a Brian Collin game by, like, oh, that has 3 players. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this cabinet, like, you look at the Xenophobe cabinet, it's got a neck, and what a ridiculous cabinet, and Wacko, and everything zawackery. Well, it needs a push-pull spinner and a flight stick. It's like, how were those decisions made?
They loved him. They just loved him to death, and they would do anything he came up with.
Yeah,
they really. That was my perception of this situation.
Yeah.
I'm not alone on that. I'm sure a lot of other people. But we were just talking about that in Portland. I said, "Oh, you were the fair-haired child, just a red-headed stepchild compared to you. You could do anything you wanted to. Wacko, come on, really, Wacko." And he's like rolling his eyes. Oh, maybe I don't know. No, he had great ideas.
Yeah.
And he had this wonderful energy. Well, you've been around him. That's who he
yeah.
is. That's he walks in the room and crazy shit starts happening because he's just a crazy fun guy.
Like, Brian, did you ever get into the game design side of it or the in-game artwork? Like, was that...
No, not really. More serendipitously, Okay, like the... actually, when I posted Barzoids, Brian, and it turns out his name is Colin, not Colin, and I had him sign my colon. That was Silicon Colin I brought out there. It turns out his name really is Colin. I thought it was Colin all these years. I was going to screw with him. It got even better. So, anyway, where was I going with that? I'm like, senior moment. God.
Getting on the design side of things,
Oh,
like
right.
in-game design.
Right, okay. He jumped on that's terrible. He jumped on the Barzoids thing, and he said, "Oh, I remember that. They were like little robots, and their arms spun out, and they hit stuff, and whatever. They just spun around on the screen, and when he wrote that, I said, oh yes, I do remember that stupid game. And it was dependent on the guys that I designed.
Yeah.
And there were 4 little guys, and actually they're the ones that are on the header. So I had to design them so they were simple enough to turn into pixel art, but still be, cute and clever and, but simple. So, but other than that, not much. Most of the time, all that was already designated, like Satan's Hollow. That game existed.
Yeah.
Just go and play it and make pretty artwork for it. But there you go. But,
It was Brian's birthday. That's right.
Yes. Shout out to Al Anonymous for joining us. Yes, he's mentioning that it's Brian Colin's birthday yesterday.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Happy birthday to Brian.
Yeah. Good Niemeyer, right? That's funny.
That was. I wasn't sure how to pronounce her name, so I had to come up with a mnemonic device to put in our screen notes.
Yeah. So Brian Colin.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. I sent him a happy hatch day.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool.
Would you have a lot of interaction with him?
Not as
Back
much
in
as
the
I
day?
would have liked. That would have been more fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they had him up on the second floor on R&D, and like again, I mentioned last time, it was like the Pentagon rolling
Yeah, oh,
around
yeah.
there. You had to have the coat, and you weren't just going up to visit.
Yeah.
You had to have a reason to go up and talk to Brian or Sharon. Sharon was just down the way, 2 cubicles away from him.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, not very much, unfortunately. Just when we were working on the game together, or you just saw them hanging around, like in the arcade or something, just goofing around with them,
Yeah.
But, yeah. So.
Was there any times that, like, sometimes you'll find people that are more concerned about like deadlines and budgets, and were those things that kind of stunted any of the artistic side of things?
Maybe towards the end. Like, okay, we talked a little bit last time about the spending sprees that they went on and how they got screwed over on games. And I mentioned last time that on 3 different occasions, customs agents came. And it turns out, I didn't really explain why, it turns out that at the time, the technology they were using on the games wasn't much more advanced than military stuff. I mean, it was really, it was cutting edge stuff.
Yeah.
So they were piggybacking military secrets onto video game stuff and smuggling it into the country. I mean, it sounds like it's right out of a spy novel, but that's what actually was really happening. And the third time they came, they found stuff. They
Really?
discovered, yeah, on one of the games that I had actually worked on. So I remember
What game?
It was a skater game. It was a stupid skater game. Yeah, It had like 12 rounds to it, and we're like, "That's it, that's it." And it turns out it had a whole bunch of space on the hard drive that had stuff,
Wow.
and it was all encoded. And
Really?
crazy crap. I know. Like, what the hell? Suddenly I'm in a room and waiting for some customs agents to come and talk to me, and then they came in and said, "Okay, you can go."
Yeah.
But I sweat bullets for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That
it
is
was some
scary.
goofy, crazy,
Wow.
stupid stuff like that.
You would never expect that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're working on video game art, and it's
Yeah, yeah, and suddenly
well, the government wants to talk to you now.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Kooky. Some nutty stuff happened there. Yeah. But it was all very cutting edge. So.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to. A lot of people typing in on the stream chat, and thank you all for being here. Shout outs to the guys from TNT and Tim Roth. Thank you for being in the stream chat and checking that out. Make sure type in any questions. Paul will be happy to answer them. Again, he's worked on so many great arcade cabinet artworks. Satan's Hollow, Wacko, and of course Mortal Kombat. You had some Tapper. You had
Yeah.
shown the prototype Tapper artwork.
Right. Yeah. I found that today too. I was taking that. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's a big piece now.
Before on your Facebook, you had that Bigfoot one too.
Uh,
The one for Kick. Remember? Wasn't that prototype artwork?
That was Jeff Nauman gave me that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. It was. I know you've posted. I remember the Tapper one. I thought there was one other one that you had posted that was prototype.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Maybe I might have.
I could go through your pictures, I guess.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Who knows what I did? I don't know what I do anymore.
Lava Being asking any stories where the cabinet art and the in-game art didn't match, but the game was still shipped.
Oh boy, no. Heads would have rolled. Yeah, that was a big no.
Yeah.
And the thing there too is, in order for you to do the artwork, it all had to be matched up. I mean, we use these little die cut things where you punch holes in the film, and then you lined everything up on a peg, so it couldn't shift. It was impossible for it to shift.
Yeah.
So if that happened, it was in the production, like maybe now I had seen it where a screen would have shifted in the production, You know, and maybe like there's you always see like a hairline that's on edges and stuff. You know, where the screen all moved over. But again, that's on whoever did the printing.
Yeah.
It never left. No, it was.
That's further down the line, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or there's a cross waiting for you to get on. You know, right up you go, buddy. Yeah, that was like rule number one. You know, get the production right.
For sure. And I've seen just major companies. I've seen how errors like that.
Dumb shit.
It just train wrecks everything. I don't want to name names, but a friend of mine worked at a company, and it was a wrong version of a game shipped, which just correcting that was catastrophic for the company. So
when was this? Was it a while ago where you couldn't patch it, or?
It was pre-patch stuff. There
was no updating it.
I think it was a PS2 game.
Oh yeah, there's no.
So the company folded shortly after.
Stuck with it.
It was. They had to repress all the discs, and just the cost of it just folded the company up. So.
Yep. Yeah, dumb mistake. But you only make one.
Yeah.
In some cases, you know, like where you got everything riding on it, and you do something stupid.
Yeah.
Oh man, no. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We were talking about prototypes. Actually, this is the prototype of Midnight Marauders header.
Wow.
That I did. You see that?
There you go.
Got a pretty
With the bloody midnight.
Yeah. I remember they were like, "Yeah, no, Mr. Bloody Splatter Boy, what the hell do you think you're doing there? Trying to run a family show here." Well, this 8 years before Mortal Kombat, so
Sure.
Yeah,
Ahead of the time.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's me, Mr. Cutting Edge, right? Sure, let's go with that.
The how was it? Like you put a lot of effort into something like that. Like when they would come in.
Yeah, that one had a lot. I remember having tacks, pinned to the wall and strings running off, to do this crazy wild perspective that I had in mind for, just to get it all right.
Would they be gentle about the oh yeah, you come in, you've got here's my concept. Would they just be would they be gentle about it, or would they just be like, no, go again, try something else?
We're going a different direction.
Yeah.
There was no babying you or holding your hand or anything. It was okay. At that level, you're a pro. And if you're not a pro, how'd you get there in the first place?
Sure.
So, they figure because if they can talk to you like that, they don't have to be nice to you. We're not here to be your friend.
Yeah.
I'm here to get this done.
Right.
And I hate to say it, I have the same attitude when I'm the captain of the team, whatever we're doing. I've pretty much got that attitude too, because everybody I know that I brought onto that team is a pro, and if they can't take it, then get out of the kitchen. It's just too hot.
Did that churn people out? Did you see that? Did you see the?
No. Everybody was on.
Everybody was
a total professional, and that was part of the pleasure of working there, and also for me in the ad agencies later.
Yeah.
Because I came out of that environment where everybody was just a super pro and incredibly talented, and we were constantly going and showing each other. I get this character, it's not really working right. What do you see? And we change ideas, and it just made everybody better.
Yeah.
And then working at the ad agencies, same thing, because the level that you're working at, they have so much money riding on this.
Sure.
I knew when I walked into an ad agency, everybody I'm working with, everybody here is the best, because they wouldn't be here if they weren't.
Yeah.
And they're paying everybody because they're the best. So
sure.
And that was a joy. It was a joy to work because there was never explaining anything. There wasn't hand holding. There wasn't, And if it sounded like it was a little short and gruff, I never noticed it.
Yeah.
Because if anything, they were like that to everybody. It wasn't like you were being picked out. No, not. You knew the deal. Get on board. We got a deadline.
Yeah.
Got a question in the chat. Are there any artists or cabinets that you admire?
Let's see.
Prestige,
From
1881.
Oh God, yeah, all of them. Oh my God. It, boy, everybody. Man, I don't even know where to start. I mean, pretty much everybody in that art department.
Yeah.
Pat McMahon and Tony Ramone and Doug Watson and God, just the whole crew, everybody. I'm a little lost here now. Yeah, Kevin O'Connor. God, Kevin O'Connor stuff. I remember always just thinking someday I want to be as good as Kevin O'Connor.
Yeah.
You know? just a great guy, you know. Margaret Hudson, she was great to work with her on Tapper. She was just a marvelous, talent. And I understand that they all got together for the pinball classic here. That was the same weekend I was in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's too bad I missed all of them. In fact, it was funny because Doug had called me and he goes, "Hey, buddy, can I stay at your house?" You know, well, when? Oh, the weekend I'm going to be in Portland? No, you cannot stay at my house. So that was kind of like crazy. But all of them. I mean, I'd say there's nobody I can think of that I don't admire. That I didn't admire then and still do.
Yeah.
Every artist is standing on the shoulder of the artists who went before them. You know, I'm not ashamed to say I happily stole from each and every one of them. Damn straight I did. You know, and I always told my students, you know, hey, if you're going to steal well. Don't steal crap. Steal good stuff. You know, and steal from those guys. That's the best there is. So yeah, I'm online there, man. Yeah, every one of them. I love them all. I'm nothing but admiration and great respect across the board.
Would you, and shout outs to Jason Crow, thank you for being here. Would you go to arcades and see your artwork out there and other cabinets, and what was that like if you did that?
Oh, we did, but you know, it's funny because I don't think it really had any impact on us because most of the time we were going to see how it looked in the arcade and how it was working with all the other games around it. Was it getting attention? You know, are the colors right? Is it backlit properly? You know, we came with more of a technical eye to view, on a kind of a marketing strategy. You know, how is this working here in the and when we did that, it was always locally. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to drive too far. I'm just going to go down the street and look at a real arcade. You know what really hit me when it really dawned on me just exactly how big it was? I was on a ski trip, and I was an international ski bum for about 10 years there, and I skied all over the world. And we were landing in Brussels, and I got off the plane, and there was a Satan's Hollows game.
Really? Nice.
And also it dawned on me, oh my God, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere. How did oh my God.
That's your artwork.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could have knocked me over with a feather, standing there in the airport, everybody's streaming past me. I'm just kind of glued, staring, like a deer in the headlights at the game. How did this get here?
Yeah.
Who brought this here? Oh, they're everywhere, dude. Yeah.
And
wow.
what about in movies? Have you ever seen any of your artwork in movies?
Yeah, that's fun. Just recently with Wreck-It Ralph, Tapper. They all go hang out at Tapper and even in the second one, I just watched the second one just recently, and they're hanging out in Tapper.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. But the first time I saw that, we were in the movie theater, and I even went, "Hey!" My wife's like, "Shut up! People are looking at us." But Mike, look at it! Hey! Like a little kid.
It's such a unique connection that you have. Like, not only to, like, it's something that you created that, again, it means so much to so many people. And they're timeless. Like, it's something that not only is it its own thing, but it is in movies. And people make so many references to them. And
it didn't dawn on me until like hearing you say this now is what it kind of like. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But a little bit, sort of. I'm still kind of blown away by all of it, And it's really kind of an artist dream, I think, to have your artwork touch so many lives.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at the show and people come up to me and tell me these stories, and like I said last time, some of them are pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But they always end with your artwork was kind of the beacon that drew us in. We knew that was kind of like almost like a safe solace, a place that we could go and have some fun and like not live in our crappy world for just that little bit. And your artwork was like the beacon to draw us in. And, if you had any idea how many times I drew, that Mortal Kombat logo on my notebook, and people telling me that stuff. And
what do you think about someone getting it tattooed on them? I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh, tons of tattoos. Like I saw at Portland. Everywhere I go, there's always somebody. Check it out, brother. I got here, I got this right here. Careful.
I literally was on my way to get the dragon emblem tattooed on me once.
Yeah. My wife was kind of like, why don't you have one now? And I said, maybe I should get one now. I think I should, The very first event that I did was at Hollywood Cinema in Woodridge.
Yeah.
And somebody asked, do all of you have the dragon tattoo? Right. And if not, why? Right. So I was like, I've got it right here. Let me show you. They're like, no, stop. So that's how I got off. But I do not. I should probably get one. So, yes, I do have one. Yes, of course. Idiot. What have you done?
Well, and again, it's much more than. It's the symbol. That is the iconic symbol of Mortal Kombat. It's something that people have enjoyed for decades and decades, and we see it 7 days a week. People walk in, "Where are your Mortal Kombat games?" And can you think of going into an arcade and not seeing Johnny Cage on the side of that cabinet? What if they were just in black empty boxes and it was just kind of like the games? They're great on their own. Mm-hmm. But it's that total package. Visually, you look at stuff like the old arcades, like the classics, and even Atari 2600. It was so. You look at artwork like the Yar's Revenge box. It's like, if I had just seen the game, maybe, but I saw that artwork. Right. You look at a game like Centipede.
You read minds. I was just thinking Centipede. Yeah. And I remember the first time I saw that, the side art, I was like, what freaking genius did that? You magnificent bastard. Who are you? Wow. Yeah, stuff like that. It's just, like you said, iconic. It really is. And I think I'm kind of grasping it when I look at games that I liked and that we didn't do or worked on, or Zaxxon and and just all those crazy games that had great artwork, and the game was fun, but boy, that artwork is just nuts.
Yeah. But that's literally what you did with making this artwork. Was
I guess so.
You turned the square, and you turned like the quasi as close to circles as they could make to be Centipede into that ridiculous green Centipede. You gave it all this. This is what you're looking at.
Yeah. Boy,
and help define it all. But who knows what it would have been without that artwork to take it to that visualization. They need that visualization to kind of get what's going on, especially in the early eras of
And look back on it and think, it's really quite good that we were naive, because we just created for the beauty of creating. It was something that just kind of flowed out of us.
Yeah.
And it never occurred to anybody that we were creating, iconic stuff that's going to endure the ages, or that's how Renaissance painters painted. They're putting together something that's going to endure in a museum they knew that's what they were shooting at. We weren't shooting at that. It all seemed very, here today, gone tomorrow sort of thing. So, and again, that's why a lot of stuff got tossed out. We weren't the only ones that had that attitude. Everybody did. The whole, it was just an asset that is of no longer of any use, and now it's just taking up spaces, and now it's no longer an asset.
Yeah.
So out it goes. Sadly, so that's why it's so funny. My wife, you always keep all that crap. It's just piling up downstairs. I don't hear that. Yeah, Sam.
I'm sure you won't hear that anymore,
No,
right? Like that's
no.
it's now.
Yeah. Sorry, honey, didn't mean to mock you like that. Sorry. You don't sound like that.
You had a question up there from Lava Being. You see it there? You spoke about the guns on Midnight Marauder. Do you have any experience designing controllers for games, or is much of that done by another team or outside company?
Yeah, that was a totally somebody else.
You didn't have any input whatsoever on it, though, or no?
Not usually, no. I know that the controller, like on Satan's Hollow, and actually Tron was the first one that they introduced it on, and it was
George.
I think it was the F-14. Yeah, George Gomez. Yeah. He was all behind that. He was because he got his hand. He wanted to do the F-14, joystick.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. It was based on the F-14 joystick.
Yeah.
And it was all George Gomez. Yeah, that's and Tron was the first one that we used that on. That was kind of his deal. And then it got put on Satan's Hollow, and I was like, awesome. And I think that was like maybe the second game it got put on.
Yeah.
And then it became the standard. And you saw that joystick on everything after that. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, not a whole lot on as all that stuff. I mean, it was all kind of compartmentalized,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah. So interesting with the gun on that was cool. They kind of went through a lot of different changes, and that was an outside company for the gun for Midnight Marauders.
Yeah.
They found somebody and they had machined that thing. I was digging around trying to find the sell sheet for Midnight Marauder, and I've got it somewhere. I know I do. But I remember they had hired a model to be like a kind of a Mad Max kind of a character, and firing it out. And he looked like they got some fashion model and and tried to grunge him up, and that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
Hi there, Buffy. I'm shooting now. It's like it sucked. The guy that's the punk that's shooting in the cell sheet is actually the photographer's assistant.
Really?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, who was standing there the whole time holding the gaffer, and they're going, well, what about this guy? He looks like what this guy should look like.
Yeah.
I think it had to have been done more often than not, because
that's who's it's the photographer's assistant.
whoever's around, you fit the role.
Yeah.
Okay, the cell sheet for Tapper. I've got that one at home somewhere too. I should find it. If you look way in the back, it's a whole big bar scene, and we've got two perfect little models. Going, oh look, I've just won. And the art director is over on the corner. I forget what his name was. I think Dave, but he's kind of waving, and way in the back of the crowd you can see me go like this, and it was filmed. Or shot in a bar in Wrigleyville at like 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And I remember we'd gone out and we were like partying all night long. We were just going, let's just go down there. We'll just stay up all night. So we must have looked like crap when we showed up because they shoved us in the back of the crowd. We need numbers, but don't put those guys in front of them. Look like shit.
Nice.
So that's my debut on that. On the Tapper cell sheet. Yeah, I was hungover.
I'll have to look for that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what we got.
Joel Rose asking, are there any unreleased games that you remember doing art for?
Yeah. There's another one I've got at home that was kind of like Barzoids. I remember. I'll bring it next time. I've got the header somewhere for it. It got printed, but who knows if it got made or anything. Okay. I just remembered something. When I was digging around today, I did the artwork on a Transformers game, like the very first. I don't even know if it got made. It didn't, did it?
Well,
I should bring the artwork in and I'll show you what it is. It was like, it was a bad game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I remember, I've still got the separations. Like I've got the black line and the color seps. I don't know whatever happened to it. I tried to look it up and I got a big nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing it just died somewhere.
It's weird. Like there's, especially with games that have been preserved and backed up and put on MAME, that's usually like the only piece of information on so many of them. Like there's
About it.
so many games that there's no artwork at all, and if a game came out as a kit, like there just wasn't, and it's always such a shame. So again, guys like yourself and Brian Colin and Jeff Lee and who have been so quick to share stuff, the whole community should be so appreciative of you not only creating this art but preserving it and continue now coming out and sharing it all. It's something that it's a piece of history that otherwise would have been lost.
Well,
So.
I'm blessed and honored to be here. I really am. The whole process has been, just kind of overwhelming for me, but in a good way. That this is all being appreciated, now and here, and I'm just really flattered by it. I really am. I never anticipated any of this, and so that it's happening is just gravy. It's a bonus time.
It is definitely very well deserved. There's so many industry people that we've reached out to, and so many of them have that mindset of like, no, it's 30 years ago. Nobody's going to talk to me. And
right? How long did it take for you to come down here? A year. You were so persistent. Thank God. Thank God you were. Because I had talked myself into nobody remembers those games. Seriously? No, that can't be it. And in my mind, I pictured me coming down here and being like in the back of the crowd going, like this, and it'd be like one shot, yeah, he's the guy holding his arm up, and then that'd be the end of my rebirth, my rediscovery. I'd go home and that'd be the end of it,
Well, and
it's so wrong.
To me, that was always, as an artist, it was always like one of the big things. It was like, who made all this artwork? Like it's ridiculous.
And maybe part of it too is that they were so adamant about not putting your name on it, and not getting any credit for it, and not being known for it, and there was a lot of resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, Paul had nothing to do with it. He was like, screw them.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is every artisan throughout time has done that.
Yeah.
You put your name on it.
When did that change? Because that's been a thing for like recently now that they're doing, there's credits, but like even in like the early '90s, I remember playing like Super Nintendo games where like there was a hidden developer room in Final Fantasy II.
Yeah.
Like because they couldn't put their names in the credits.
But just how ignorant is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because like production stuff, like all right, you can never do it on advertising stuff. And I get that. Mm-hmm. It's advertising. I'm selling cornflakes. I'm not going to sign my. And when I illustrated Tony Tiger, it's Tony Tiger. But this stuff, this is specialty. This is something that's unique unto itself.
Yeah.
That this isn't mass-produced Tony Tiger. There's not going to be 20 of these. There's only one Satan's Hollow. That's it. So. Why can't I sign it?
Absolutely. Like the again, so many industry people. Jeff Lee, the first time it was
screwed, so cheated
talking to him, he was like, "Yeah, well, I can't draw Qbert." And I'm like, "What do you mean you can't draw Qbert? Like you created Qbert, just draw him. Like who's gonna care?" And initially he shied away from it, and there seemed like there was so much, like just slammed into industry people of like, you didn't work on this, you don't mention you did this, and it was
right. Like the whole thing with Mortal Kombat at the end of it. I was told I couldn't show it for 18 months.
Yeah.
And then don't associate yourself with it, or really? I mean.
By penalty of fatality,
a little bit of a slap in the teeth, really did. And I was just like, I put my heart and soul into this. This is, I took it personally. I did take it personally. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did.
Well, but again, you look at it. It's this industry has always been so. To me, I've never understood it in the fact that you look at movies and it's like, here's the director and here's the actor. Go talk about it. Go. You did it. Go talk about it. Go promote it. Musicians, you made it this album.
See, that's kind of. It's funny you said movie. I always looked at it kind of like I'm the lead guitarist that played that ripping lead on that song that makes it iconic. You can't hear that song without hearing that that awesome lead.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? I don't know, but boy, that song doesn't exist without that lead. That's for damn sure. And that's kind of who I feel like I am. I'm finally coming out.
This artwork, before they even played it, this was the draw. This is what they had to see. It's like, wow, that's like, how ridiculous is this artwork that you're making them? Like, they can look at the screen, they can't play it. They had to come over to it from across the room. This is the presentation.
Yeah. I think when somebody told me that it was the beacon, I think beacon is probably the best word. That's really what it was. It was just kind of a beacon to, and there was so much, there's a lot of escapism. These games provide an incredible amount of escapism, and I'm finding that now, going to the shows and talking to the fans, that, how much it meant to them and what their personal experiences were with these games. There were a number of people that came up and talked to me about Satan's Hollow in Portland.
Yeah.
And that they were, they said, I like Mortal Kombat and everything, but, can we talk about Satan's Hollow? Yes, we can, man. This one's dear to my heart. Well, I said last time, I was just so shocked when Paul came to my desk and said, I got a game for you. It's going to be all you. What?
Why did he know that was?
I don't know. I'd have to ask Paul. I don't know. I remember just being giddy. And then being like scared, like, oh no, what if I don't pull it off? What if I suck? Oh no, panic later. Draw now, panic later.
Was there a game that they're like, here it is, and you were just like, oh, I'll draw, I'll do this.
No, I got, to me it's always like, it's on me to make it exciting.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. It's a stupid, boring, name of it. But, it's like, okay, if you, make it fun and you make it colorful and you can sell crap on a stick. Look, it's crap on a stick. The best damn stick you've ever seen, and we've imported crap from Indonesia. It's like... Yeah, I don't know. It's crap on a stick. Still crap on a stick. But you made it nice. You made it great, and you sold it.
You're the one that's bringing them over to it.
Yeah. Wow, I got to get me some crap on a stick. How do you know? Because it says so right there, man.
Lava Being saying, I equate cabinet art to album covers. They're the first thing you see.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. That's exactly it. Really, no kidding. And especially, I'm a 70s kid, boy, pulling out those albums, 12 by 12 piece of art. Again, like we said last time, sometimes the album cover was way better than the album.
Sure.
And I won't listen to it, but I'll keep that album cover. That was pretty cool.
Did you prefer, obviously as an artist, I would imagine that you liked having the full piece of artwork, the full side art to work with. Was there any where they were like, nah, you just gotta use a kit piece on this? You don't get a full side art on this.
Oh no, not then. Not then. Now there's always cutting corners and can we download some stuff and throw the logo on top of that and how can we cut some corners here and then it's so. It's so depressing. It's so demoralizing sometimes. Now you go in that the primary objective of every project is how can we save money?
Sure.
How can
get it out fast.
Not what's cool or what's gonna be awesome. on the large scale, like we're working at the ad agencies, that they're the ones that are always like, what can be cool and what can be awesome. We don't care what it costs.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm working on some ad agency stuff now, and I love that because they're like, well, what's it going to take? Well, this, and this. Well, how long? How many hours is that? Oh, no problem. Do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You know, just bill us. You know, as long as the client's happy. Happy clients equals dollar signs. You know?
Sure.
So. Oh.
Have any of the gaming companies reached out to you yet to maybe work on new box art or anything like that?
I am available. No, I haven't. I don't. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
I would maybe it's only a matter of time. Like the whole
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, it's all an adventure.
yeah.
It really is. If they had put 2 words or my epitaph on my tombstone should be "We'll see." 'Cause that's how I feel about everything. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, look what happened. Yeah, we'll see. Boy, that could be big. We'll see. You know.
Do you follow any of the and Prestige asked, do you play any video games or pinball machines? Like are you
I'm a pinball guy. I really am. I got to tell you, this is so. I feel stupid now looking back on it, but I remember when I got hired at Midway, I was like, damn it, I wanted to work on the pinball games. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to remember these stupid video games?
Did you get to do any pinball?
Not until later. Long after I was gone from or had left, and I was freelancing. I worked on Demolition Man pinball, and I wish I could remember I wish I could remember her name. She was so talented. She whoever it was that did the artwork on that. God, she's so talented. I wish I could remember her name. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But anyway, I was brought in because she was working on another project. And she wasn't going to get done in time to to work on Demolition Man. So they brought me in to work on Demolition Man. So I had done a marker rendering of the big glass art, you know, and everybody was thrilled and they loved it. And I really it was almost illustration. I mean, it was pretty close to being, you know, almost a finished illustration. It was that, you know, but it was that detailed, and I wanted to let them know I was on board. This is what you're getting. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And everything went along swimmingly right up until Wesley Snipes saw his portrait, and it wasn't as big as Stallone's. Honest to God, that's what stopped the project. You know, so now everything came to a screech, and it was Sandra Bullock's first movie ever, and her face was as large as his. So now he's having a fit, man. He's losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it had to come back and be redone, and actually the one that's it's horrible. I mean, it's she did a great job on the artwork. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like you could see that it was a curve. Like we're making Wesley Snipes' head as big as Stallone's just because.
Do you still have that artwork?
I didn't get to do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So in the interim, while Wesley Snipes was, you know, having his you know, fit about, you know, the size of things, she finished up her project. She became, you know, free to do it, and then she ended up doing the final artwork on it. So that's as close as I've ever gotten to doing pinball art. Was just a, you know, exceptional, you know, rendering that everybody loved that got dumped. That's showbiz, baby. Paul was that Tommy Shaw. You're not the first one to say that. Too funny. Yeah. Look, Snipes' head is huge on the back glass.
Exactly. It stands out.
Yeah.
Stands out.
And there you go. Now you know why. Oh my God.
Gotta have that.
Oh, what
billing.
a fuster cluck that was. Can I say that? I'm saying it. I don't care.
Shout outs to Ed Horst for joining us. Again, if you're just joining us, we are here with Paul Niemeyer, industry legend who's worked on so many great arcade cabinet artworks, Satan's Hollow, Wacko, and of course Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And
Tapper,
Tron.
A couple of Pac-Man games. Yeah.
I always
Spy
thought
Hunter.
the Tron cabinets with the black light always kind of got me. I love those cabinets.
Yeah. That was so fun. Satan's Hollow, when they had that black light in the in the little marquee thing. And the thing about that was it was I don't believe they did that anywhere else. Maybe on Tron. I think it was on Tron first.
Yes.
Tron was kind of the prototype for. Well, it's definitely a prototype for Satan's Hollow. They kind of took everything they learned off of Tron and applied it to Satan's Hollow, which I was just thrilled about because, like, look at this cool crap that's showing up, you know.
Yeah.
You know? I'm still a big kid.
Ed Horse asking, what are you doing nowadays?
Well, actually, I'm kind of a sculptor now. I design and make props for haunted attractions and venues and theme parks, water parks, escape rooms, all over the world. All over the world.
Wow.
Done a little bit of traveling. Got to go to France and build an escape room I had designed. And,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. Do stuff for like a local pumpkin farm, and it's just, you know, I've got like the last thing I did was a 11-foot tall cartoon ear cord.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you go into detail about that big shark you made? That impressed me.
That was so crazy.
I like sharks. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to go home and post that. I said I was going to do that 2 weeks ago.
That's all right.
I'm going to do it now. Yeah, that was a crazy one. It was Gorgalore Studios, and they came to me that it was a shark head that was going to be for a Sharknado themed. This is so nutty. Sharknado themed theme park in Singapore, Malaysia. Okay. So I made this huge head. It's gigantic, you know. I mean, it literally could swallow me up whole if it were a real shark. But our concern with it was the weight, because you're going to make it out of clay, and they're going to make a mold out of it, you know. And this is a huge thing in itself. The mold. Can you imagine making a mold out of this thing? It's 5 feet tall. And it's, you know, 4 feet in diameter. It's just nuts. The mold was huge. It had to make it in 4 huge sections, and. So we're worried about the weight. All that clay. And if you made that thing out of clay, it'd be, you know, 20 tons. It'd cost you, you know, thousands of dollars of clay. Right. You know, so I carved the basic shape of it out of foam and just applied the clay to it. Only about maybe, I'll bet it was only a half inch of clay on top of it. On top of it, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's how. And when I got that done, actually I did it in the construction shop of Midnight Terror Haunted House, and then we, when I got done, even though there was only about a half an inch of clay on the whole thing, it's so huge, it weighed 400 pounds. Yeah, it was just that little bit of clay, you know, it's a 400 pound, and that was just the top part of it. The lower jaw section weighed like 175 pounds. Wow. You know, so I mounted them to pallets. And we ended up taking a forklift and putting it into a truck, and I drove it down to southern Indiana. I drove it all the way down to Evansville, a 6-hour drive, you know, with a big-ass shark in the head in the back, me driving along, bouncing along. That was a funny thing, too. I'm not going to say the rental company. They kind of screwed me over on the truck before that, and they gave me too small a size. So this time I wanted the small size because it wouldn't bounce around. So they thought they'd upgrade me because, you know, they screwed me over the time before. So they give me this huge truck that's, you know, rated for 5,000 pounds. It's only got 600 pounds. So I'm doing this long 6 hours, you know, driving down to Evansville, Indiana with a stupid shark in the back. And I'm thinking to myself, it's bouncing. There's not going to be anything left of it.
For sure.
I got lucky. It lost about maybe 4 teeth. You know, so it had 88 teeth. We were laughing. It was like a piano. You know?
Wow.
So yeah, that was a fun project to do. And then when they molded it, they made a couple of them. They made one that's at a haunted house in Louisville, Kentucky now.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'll post pictures of them. They just did fantastic. Gorgalore, those guys are just amazing too. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you do like commission works and stuff? Like,
sure, everything.
Well, Pete had just posted a link to Paul's Facebook page. I assume that's an all right place to hit you up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, actually, along the holidays, I do a lot of portraits. I do a lot of house portraits.
Really?
Yeah, I love doing house portraits. I don't know what it is. It's just I love drawing architecture.
Really?
Yeah, just fun. They're pencil pieces, and you know they don't take me too long, and I'm pretty good at it.
It's awesome. Well, yeah, like
Yeah,
how
they make great gifts, and it's kind of funny. It was one of those things that just kind of snowballed. I did a couple, and I posted it out there, and people were like, "Hey, could you do more?" Yeah, sure, I could do that. Before like last year, I actually, made an effort to say, "Hey, bring them on in here." I was booked the whole November. Cool. November and December, right to Christmas. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So definitely, imagine you can get artwork done by one of the legends who's worked on so many arcade games.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Who is this guy? I'd like to hire him.
Well, and again, it's you've created so many historic pieces. Who would not want something done by?
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man.
It's like we've again been so fortunate to have guys like Jeff Lee, Brian Colin. They've shared artwork. They have it available at the front counter at the arcade. So yeah, I'd like to definitely extend that offer to you. If you have
cool!
anything
Yeah.
it would be great
Thanks.
to.
Yeah, and actually I thought about that halfway here. It's like, I should have brought something because you offered that last time, and I was like, duh.
Well, and again, people want, like, as we talked about, this resonates with so many people. It has so much value to them, and the history behind it, and there's so many different ways that people connect to these games, and to have a piece of artwork from the original artist, that means a lot. Like people are going and getting tattoos of the MK logo.
Right.
Somewhere somebody's probably got a giant Satan's Hollow back piece
Boy,
going on somewhere.
If you're out there, send me a picture of that. That would be awesome.
That'd be cool, like this right above the shoulders, like kind of arcade like that.
That would
That'd
be
be
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah, you could do a whole thing out. That would be pretty awesome, man. Oh, like this question for Paul: what is the airspeed velocity of the unladen swallow? European or domestic? Right.
Yep, exactly.
Smart ass.
I think we actually have to start wrapping things up, but I do want to first present you with this.
Oh my goodness. What is this?
It's a plaque.
Oh man.
Says
Check it out.
presented to Paul Niemeyer on behalf of the Galloping Ghost Arcade and the video game community. We recognize and thank you for your tremendous impact on video game history. Throughout your incredible career, you have created artwork for games that have stood the test of time. Your style that you've brought to games have made them unforgettable to all. The artwork you've created is truly an inspiration to creativity and style, and you are a true legend in the video game industry. So we'd like to
I am truly touched.
present this to you,
Yeah, that is
and we
amazing.
thank you
Wow.
so much for everything that you brought. And
Thank you.
again, you've done so much for so many people, and I see it. Pete sees it 7 days a week.
Cool.
People come in, and
I hope that continues.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
you make people. The things that you've created make people very happy, and
thank you.
people are. I'm so happy that people are recognizing it, and
I feel blessed to have had that opportunity. Yeah, it's just I think, like I said before, it's really every artist's, passion and dream to have their art appreciated by that many people. So, in so many different ways, and far beyond my wildest imagination. All over the world. It's just nuts. It really is. So, thank you so much for this. Thank you. It's really amazing.
absolutely
I'm touched.
very well deserved. And
Oh, thanks, man. Cool.
Oh, did you have more questions or?
No, just the shark.
I will post that. Like I said, the paint jobs they did were just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. That's the other thing too. When you do something, when you do a sculpt, and then somebody comes along and then they do just like killer paint job, and not just one but two killer paint jobs on them. And they are so different. Wait till I post it. You'll see. You're like, oh my God, you're making me look so good. Thanks, man. Damn. Yeah. That's the best. Or even a good print job.
for sure.
You know, like oh man, you guys are making me look good. Thank you. You know, yeah, very cool. Thank you. Well, this is wow. Thank you.
And again, check out Paul Niemeyer. Go to his Facebook page. Pete has posted the link.
I'll do it again for posterity.
Oh, thanks, man. Awesome.
Send him a message, friend request him. He'll do commission work, which again, that is awesome.
Absolutely, sure, you bet.
I might have to hit you up for something.
I would love to do something for. No, that would be great. I would be honored to do something for you. I really would be. Thanks. That'd be great. Thanks.
Cool. Well, until next time, this is Doc Mack. Again, huge thanks to Paul Niemeyer, industry legend, and of course, former Game of the Year Pete Hahn. We will.
We have to work on that. We got way better.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
And I know there's still more to cover.
Oh, I got a ton.
I'm looking back there. I see time killer art.
Yeah, I didn't even bring any. Half the stuff I brought, I didn't even bring out to do. You know, so.
Would you be up for coming back again?
Heck yeah! Awesome. Are you kidding? This is fun. They don't mind hearing about it. I don't mind talking about it. That's for sure.
I know, and again, this is like since we've been back doing podcasts, I think this has been one of my favorites for sure. So.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's great.
Thanks, Season Salt, for joining us.
I'm having a ball doing this. I really am.
Are you doing any other shows coming up?
I'm working on getting a couple booked right now. I can't say because I haven't got any confirmations yet.
Okay.
But it's in the works.
Awesome.
So I'm trying to put together enough shows. I'd like to kind of travel around the country and you know, there's a lot of fans and you know, doing the shows now. I've had other shows approach me.
That's awesome.
So I'm kind of waiting to see how that pans out. Hopefully that'll be a good thing. And
very cool.
This is turning into a whole new thing for me. So.
That is awesome.
And let's face it, you were at the well, you were at the vanguard of that. That's that's a very cool thing. So I don't forget stuff like that. That's cool. That's cool. Thanks.
Thank you. So until next time, this is Doc Mack. Again, thanks to Paul. Thanks to former Game of the Year Pete Hahn. We will be back maybe next Wednesday.
Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? Definitely don't forget to join us.
If the fates allow.
There you go.
Very good.
Definitely join us on Monday for the next Monday mystery game. Until then, thanks everybody. This is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade. We hope to see you around the arcade soon.
God bless everybody.
Thanks a lot, everybody.